Hi, it's Jason from Purple Cats Quilting. Today we're going to talk about a few pressing things, but we're going to talk about covering our wool mat or making a pressing board. So quite a while ago we used to have classes where we had a pressing board for everybody in our class, and Mr. Katz made these. I'm going to show you one. We did an envelope style cover, and we took a piece of plywood, just a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch piece of plywood. We covered in worm and natural batting, and then we made these little pillow slip covers. We could take them off and give them a wash if we needed them. So I wanted to show you. Here's one that's been very well used. I think somebody might have left their iron on there. Sometimes when you're using best press and you get lots, they get kind of sticky. So this is a great idea. I want to show you how I did it today. I did my wool mat, my large wool mat. I took the measurement of my wool mat and I added 2 inches onto the width, and I added about 4 inches to the length. And so that makes a nice tight fitting. You can adjust it to your mat. Makes a nice tight fitting cover that I can take off and wash now. So if I get a little bit of applique pressing stuff like steam-a-seam on there, or I maybe scorch it with an iron, or I get some best press on there, it gets quite a buildup because I use my pressing solution quite a bit. I can take it off and throw it in the wash. So I'm going to show you how I did it. So it's just a little sleeve on the end. You can pick some of that pretty fabric that you have in your stash and use it and see it every day. Last week I recovered my ironing board, and it just gives me pure joy to see that bright, happy fabric. So what I did is I took a width of fabric, placed on the fold, and I took the width of my pressing mat and I added 2 inches. And for the length of my pressing mat, I added about 5 inches, 4 to 5 inches. Then I went to my sewing machine, right sides together. And because my pressing mat is rounded, I rounded out the corners and I sewed a 3/8 inch seam all the way around the outside. Then I used pinking shears just to finish it so it doesn't fray. I used pinking shears on the end. Turn it right side out, slip it onto your mat. And that's as easy as it is. You can put it on a small mat. I've just given you the rough measurements because now you can choose which one for your size of mat. So I'm just going to show you a couple pressing things. We have these beautiful pressing boards. I like to keep these. I have a Costco side table, and that's what I keep beside my sewing machine. And I like to keep all of my little projects when I'm doing like piecing that has to be pressed open, or I have to sew and press, sew and press, sew and press. I always have those right beside my sewing machine, so I have a little station. Another good use for this is if you're going to retreat. So I have my little iron, my little mini iron on the little table beside me. I usually have my pressing bar. You can have a cutting mat, just a small cutting mat, or the other one I really like is this rotary cutting mat if I'm doing like half square triangles. So I'm just going to show you a couple things with my pressing bar, just how that works. If you're pressing open, a lot of my patterns now, modern patterns and patterns, they call for you to press your seams open, especially Tula Pink. So I just lay it over the pressing bar. I use this Acorn Precision piecing products, and it comes in a little pen, and the liquid is in the pen. You lay that on your seam before you press, and it just gives a really nice open. You can see how hard a press that gives. Another thing that I did this past week is I usually use like a little tiny refillable bottle when I'm going to retreat or at my station. But this week I went to the dollar store and I got a plant mister, and this has worked just great because it's got a wide base so it doesn't tip off my ironing board, and it gives just a nice light spray. And you can see I added a sticker to it to make it pretty. So now I'm pressing this. I can throw this on my cutting mat with my ruler, and I can press around. So let's just see here. I'm making a wonky block. So I can press, I've got my rotary mat, I can cut. There you go. So there's my wonky block pressed open with my pressing solution. Works great. Pressing open with a pressing bar is just a really nice tool because it folds over that round edge. So, like, comment, and share. I'd love to see your pictures, see some feedback. Let me know. Have a great day.